I bought a $50,000 guitar for $4,000 and refused to sell it back when the buyer found out the real value. I've been playing guitar for about 22 years now. I know my way around vintage stuff pretty well, especially old Telecasters and Stratocasters. When you've been in the game this long, you can spot valuable gear from a mile away. So my wife Amy was hanging out with her coworkers after work one day, and she mentioned I played guitar. This guy named Trevor, who apparently was super popular at her office, said his dad had just died and he was selling off his stuff. His dad had this guitar he wanted to get rid of, and he asked Amy if I'd be interested. Amy texted me about it when she got home, and I told her to have him send me some pictures and the price. The next day, Trevor sent me these photos of what looked like a 1952 Telecaster in absolutely mint condition. I'm talking no scratches, original hardware, even had the original receipt from the music store. This was insane. I texted back asking what he wanted for it, and he said he'd looked up Telecasters online and thought $4,000 was fair. My heart literally stopped. This guitar was worth at least 50 grand, maybe more with that paperwork. I immediately texted back, I'll take it for $4,000, and we arranged to meet. When I picked up the guitar, Trevor seemed pretty casual about the whole thing. He said it had no sentimental value to him at all, he just needed the money. I paid him in cash, shook his hand, and drove home trying not to speed with $50,000 sitting in my passenger seat. When I got home and told Amy what it was actually worth, she freaked out. She couldn't believe someone would sell a guitar worth that much for $4,000. But I reminded her that Trevor had done his own research and set his own price. I didn't lie to him or hide anything. 2 weeks later, Amy comes home from work looking stressed. She said Trevor had found out what the guitar was really worth from some family friend who knew about vintage guitars. He wanted it back. Amy told him I really liked the guitar and that I knew it was worth $50,000, which is why I was shocked he offered it for $4 grand. She said she doubted I'd sell it back, but he could ask. That night, Trevor called me. He started off polite, saying he'd made a mistake with the pricing and wanted to buy it back. I told him the guitar wasn't for sale. That's when he got nasty. He said I'd scammed him and that he was going to sue me and take Amy to HR for being part of some scheme. The next day, he actually did contact HR. Thankfully, Amy's company stayed out of it. They told Trevor this was between him and me, not a workplace issue. But that didn't stop him from making Amy's life miserable. Every single day, he'd corner her about the guitar. He'd ask her to text me, to convince me, to guilt trip me about his dead dad. Amy came home crying one day because he'd gotten really aggressive, saying I was a thief and that Amy was helping me steal from grieving families. She filed a complaint with HR about harassment. They gave Trevor a warning, but he didn't stop. A week later, he followed Amy to her car and started yelling at her in the parking lot, calling her names and saying he knew where we lived. That's when Amy filed a second complaint. HR fired him the next day, but Trevor still wouldn't give up. He started calling me directly, leaving voicemails threatening to sue me for fraud. He said he'd researched the laws and that I had to give him the guitar back because he didn't know its true value. He even drove by our house a couple times, which really freaked Amy out. I ended up getting a restraining order for harassment. The police told me to document everything he was doing. I had dozens of voicemails, texts, and Amy had witnesses from work who saw him bothering her. The restraining order hearing was actually pretty funny. Trevor showed up with a folder full of printed emails and guitar pricing websites, acting like he was some kind of lawyer. He kept interrupting the judge, saying I'd committed fraud. The judge finally told him to shut up and asked if I'd lied about anything during our transaction. I explained that Trevor had set his own price after doing his own research. I never told him the guitar was only worth $4,000 or tried to mislead him. I just accepted his offer. The judge looked at Trevor and said, "So you did research, set a price, and now you're mad that your research was bad?" Trevor's face went bright red. The judge granted the restraining order and told Trevor that buyer's remorse wasn't a crime. He said if Trevor contacted me or Amy again, he'd go to jail.